Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're going to be closing out this week with some unfortunate news when it comes to a highly anticipated game. And in fact, it's one that I was really interested to see how it was going to turn out because it's a remake of a game that I absolutely loved on the original Xbox. And even to this day, you can play it and it's awesome. And that is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Well, in 2021, we know it was announced that it was getting a remake during that PlayStation showcase. And unfortunately, since then, it's just been rough waters, it seems, for the development. And now, to me, the signs are there that this game is all but canceled. We'll talk about that here today. So if you guys enjoy this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you're new here to the Spawn Wave channel. Let's head over here first, though. This was, of course, from Bloomberg with Jason Schreier, who has been following kind of the backstory to this game. Now, when the title was first revealed during that PlayStation showcase, we didn't necessarily see a lot about the game. Certainly no in-game screenshots, no gameplay, none of that, right? So there was a lot that was explained just through interviews and talking segments, and it seemed like they were going to reimagine the game in, I feel like, more of an action RPG style, not necessarily what we had back in the day on that original Xbox, where it was more akin to like Dragon Age or something like that, right? Where you would watch the battles play out and, of course, choose different moves and different things that would happen as you go along. So in that case, with Aspyr coming in to reimagine it, I did see a lot of pause when they were brought up because people were like, wait a minute, Aspyr doesn't necessarily have like that kind of experience behind them to take on a project of this size. And I feel like the concerns were warranted in that space. But there's also the idea that, okay, well, maybe this could be a breakout moment for Aspyr. Think of, like, a lot of this happens with different studios. Think of Rocksteady, for example, just off the top of my head. When they made Batman Arkham Asylum, that was sort of their breakout moment. Followed it up with City, followed it up with Night, and I mean, that was a legendary run for a developer with those three games. Now, a little sketchy again with Suicide Squad, but people weren't really thinking about Rocksteady until Arkham Asylum showed up, and that was in a well-established franchise with Batman. So who knows? This could have been Aspyr's big moment. But, I mean, you could see, this was July 26, 2022. I mean, less than a year after that announcement. And the game's development was paused. And apparently this had to do with a demo that was showcased to higher-ups at Disney, at Sony. Because, remember, Sony is involved with this game in the sense that they had exclusivity for it, which means they had some sort of funding that they were doing to get it on the PlayStation 5 specifically. Apparently, when a demo or a vertical slice of the game was shown by Aspyr, like a couple days later, directors were fired for the game and it was put on hold and they were trying to figure out what to do with it. Now, there is belief that the game that was shown could have just been really poor in terms of quality. However, I think there's also the possibility, because we haven't necessarily seen the demo or even had it really described to us, it's possible that the demo was going to be difficult to then replicate over the course of the entirety of Knights of the Old Republic. Like, it could be a really, really good vertical slice, but then it's like, okay, how are you going to do this in a certain amount of time? Because apparently this game was like supposed to be coming out here pretty soon. How are you going to get this game done in that amount of time? And how are you going to keep that quality up within a certain budget that we've outlined for you? Like, scope is something that doesn't get talked about as much, but in this case, I think it's incredibly relevant. So once that happened, where apparently they fired directors and it's put on hold, I mean, that was a major red flag, obviously. But then it goes a bit further to where the project was taken away from Aspyr, given to Saber Interactive, who, I mean, really, who knows what it was given to them in terms of the state of the game. Are they restarting? It's hard to say. But now we have some interesting stuff happening when it comes to the marketing and even recognition from Sony, as PlayStation, you can see here, has officially hidden the 2021 reveal trailer for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic on YouTube. Now, it goes a bit further in the sense that even tweets and mentions of this game from Sony were being deleted, hidden, taken off the internet completely. Basically, the association between Sony and this game is being removed from existence at this point. And you have to wonder if that's happening because this game is just canceled. Like, it's just not coming out. We're not going to advertise. We're not going to market it anymore. Well, we did get a response from Sony, and also Disney had the question posed, and they had a different kind of response, but we can see from Sony, and this was issued to IGN, they said, as part of normal business, we delist assets with licensed music when the licenses expire. So my question there is, you feel like if you are still marketing a game that is coming out and it's exclusive to your platform, you feel like you would want to re-up those licenses to continue running basically advertisements of that game in the form of a trailer on your account, your Twitter account, on your YouTube account. You're trying to push this game because you assume it'll push console sales. It seems odd that you would go, oh, well, the licensing agreement's up. Whatever for music. Just pull the whole thing down. And then also don't reference it on any of our tweets. Just get rid of all of that. And when Disney's asked about all of this, they say, well, why don't you check with Sony? They'll fill you in. I feel like this game is unfortunately going to go down in history as one of the biggest teases we've seen when it comes to just Star Wars, but definitely Star Wars video games. I mean, we had 1313, that was a big one. This one, though, a remake of a beloved title like Knights of the Republic, it's up there. And at this time, I am going to advise people to believe that it's not coming out. And it's unfortunate, but as I've kind of asked around myself, there's so much pessimism around this game, as in, like, the game's dead. It's not something that appears like they have a path forward on it. And really, after hearing some of the pessimism and then also looking over at the state of Embracer right now, it's not hard to believe that is just kind of the position they're in, to where Embracer is consolidating down, it appears. They're closing studios. They're cutting their workforce. Disney probably realizing, okay, this is going to be a long time for this game to get done if we stick with Embracer. They don't even have it with the original developers that we agreed with for Aspire. They might be looking around and saying, well, we can move off of this and revisit it later, or just never again. And it's unfortunate, especially for people who wanted to see what could have come from a Knights of the Republic remake, especially with where we are generations after that original release with the technology we have current. Like, it could be really, really cool looking. Also could have turned out terribly. Let's be real. If they were to reimagine it, maybe even more of like an action RPG, they could have ruined the whole thing. But I would have at least liked to have seen what they had in store for it with that demo, or even just the game coming out. But unfortunate news there for Knights of the Republic and Star Wars fans. It's, I guess we still have the original, but let me know what you guys think about this one down below, with Knights of the Republic remake seemingly, to me, canceled. But hey, maybe we'll get some information from Jason Schreier, who has been kind of following along with this very closely. Hopefully it's news that, oh, they are actually rebooted development, and they're going to show up probably years later with something new. We'll see, though. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.